Two brand new artifact set will be added to Genshin Impact 2.6 patch, one being the Vermillion Hunter set, and the other one being the Echo of Offering set. Are these artifacts gonna be worth your time? Spoiler alert, not really. But anyway, let's talk about these artifacts. But before we start, as always, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and let's get started. Let's start by just talking about the two-piece effect on these artifacts, which is very simple. 18% attack. You've seen this before on Gladiator, on Shimenawa. Honestly, there's nothing special here. When miHoYo went out of idea, they just slammed 18% attack onto this artifact, 18% onto that artifact. Honestly, what's new? miHoYo is out of idea, guys. So with that being said, let's talk about the 4Ps. Starting off with the Vermillion Hunter, if this is not too obvious to people who are watching this video, this artifact set is clearly designed for Xiao, as he is the only character who HP go down multiple times after casting your Elemental Burst. So let's focus on that. After draining your HP 4 times after casting your Elemental Burst, this artifact set will grant you a total of 66% attack, which is a lot of attack. Furthermore, Xiao really love attack percent because his Elemental Burst give him a bunch of damage percent already. So attack percent kind of have better value on Xiao than any other characters. So far, so good. With that being said, this will be the best installed artifact for Xiao, as it is tailorly made for him and give him a bunch of attack. Unfortunately, however, this set will most likely not be worth farming for. The main reason is, of course, currently you will be running 2 Shimenawa 2 Gladiator on your Xiao, which give you 18 plus 18 attack or 36 attack in total. So comparing your old artifact set to the new artifact set, you are looking at a difference of 30% attack, which to be honest is not a lot when we're factoring in substats. The thing is, most players would probably already have a really well-rounded Shimenawa plus Gladiator 2+2 set. The reason of course is because Gladiator you can kind of get just by playing the game, as they will frequently drop from bosses, so the chance of you having really well-rounded Gladiator is not that low. At the same time, Shimenawa set come from the Album domain, which is the best domain in the game, which a lot of people have been farming for the longest time. Because of that, it is not uncommon to have really well-rounded 2+2 set for your Xiao, aka 2 Gladiator and 2 Shimenawa. The main problem here is of course you have to get equivalent substat on the upcoming Vermillion Hunter set, which not only means you have to refarm for it potentially for a long time, as getting the equivalent substat is quite hard, but also it is just going to be harder as it is a 4-piece bonus set rather than a 2+2 set. So overall, it is much harder to reacquire the same substat as you have previously. Mathematically speaking, between the old set and the new set, the 30% attack difference is equivalent to about 4 crit substat roll. What that means is that in order for your 4-piece Vermillion Hunter to be competitive with your old 2+2 Shimenawa Gladiator set, your new 4-piece set need to be within 4 crit substat roll as your old set, which is really hard to do, again because your old artifact set probably have really well-rolled crit, while your new artifact set you have to completely refarm, and we all know the pain of rolling for crit. But what if you have the equivalent or even better substat on your new artifact set? Then you'll be seeing a good amount of damage increase, right? Well, actually yes. You will actually be seeing about a 5 to 10% overall damage increase on your Xiao, depending on how many attack you already have, aka what setup you're running. Are you running Xiao with Minute? Are you running Xiao with TTDS? These questions will dramatically change how much gain you're gaining, but overall you'll be seeing a 5 to 10% gain. But to be honest, while 5 to 10% damage increase is nice to have, the amount of time you have to spend in the new domain to farm for those artifacts is honestly just not worth it. Unless your name is Sios or you're a dedicated one-trick Xiao main, again, which means your name is Sios, the new artifact set is just not really worth going for. Something you need to realize is that the amount of time you spend farming for the new artifact set in the new domain could easily be used towards farming for Album instead, and in the Album domain you continuously get 2-piece Shimenawa set, which could be a upgrade from what you already have, which means that your Xiao could also gain damage through that way. But more importantly is that of course you'll also be getting the Album of the Swift Face set along that way, which is one of the best artifact set in the game, and could continuously be used to improve your other character as well, and these are characters like Raiden, Xingqiu's, Beidou, or even Xiangling, which just means that farming for Album set overall is going to be much better for your overall account progression, instead of just trying to farm the new set for only damage gain on your Xiao. So yeah, once again, the new artifact set is not worth farming for. Now, there is definitely exception to when you can farm for the new artifact set in the new artifact domain. One of these is if you're a completely brand new player who happen to own Xiao. Now, I suspect that's not any of you, as there's currently no Xiao rerun, but just in case if that's you, well, you can actually farm for the new artifact set. The reason of that is because both of the new artifact in the new artifact domain have 18% attack bonus increase on their 2-piece set effect. That means it is quite easy to get a decently well-rounded 2+2 set just by farming the new domain. And if you happen to get a good 4-piece set on that way, then well, you can use the 4-piece set instead. But if not, just use the 2+2 set, which will probably be really good. That means that you can potentially get a Shao setup going really quickly and could be really beneficial if you're a completely brand new player. The other reason is, well, if you need to farm for the other new artifact set in that new artifact set domain and you happen to get a really good 4-piece vermillion set on the way, then yes, of course you can use that on Shao. But that's only if you happen to be farming for the other artifact set in that same domain, which we'll now cover. The Echoes of the Offering set. Taking a look at the 4-piece set of the Echo of an Offering set, it has a really interesting 4-piece set effect. Every time you do a normal attack, there will be a chance that you can trigger the effect, which increase your normal attack damage by 70% of your attack. This here works exactly like how Yunjin work, which means character that normal attack a lot or normal attack really fast can greatly benefit from this artifact set, as this is a MV modifier and go directly into the talent percent category. What this means is that the character that can benefit the most from the brand new artifact set is going to be character that do normal attack a lot or really fast, and these are characters like Yoimiya or Ayato. Now, the most interesting aspect about this artifact set is that, well, the bonus is actually RNG, and you do not get the bonus on every single one of your attack. That means that this artifact set will be extremely hard for Fear Crafter to calculate, as it is not just a flat bonus increase. For the nerds out there, could actually be another layer of pseudo RNG on top of the RNG of this artifact set, which make it even more harder to calc without properly testing it in game. And if we were to actually calculate this, we have to do something like a Markov chain or a multi-color simulation, which are basically just big brain term of saying, yeah, this is pretty hard to calc. So it is hard to say what the actual damage increases on characters like Yoimiya or Ayato, especially when we're comparing it to existing set on Ayato like the 4-piece Heart of Depth, which have really clear effect. The biggest thing, however, for this artifact set is that it completely removes your ability to play Vaporize on Yoimiya or Ayato. Now that might be not very obvious why that is the case, so let me slowly explain. There is a pretty big potential problem of playing Vaporize style with character like Yoimiya and Ayato, and that is, well, you might have guessed it, ICD, which is basically mean that not every single one of your attack will Vaporize, and that is actually a huge deal when we add a RNG layer on top using this new artifact set. When you are doing Vaporize, you want to be hitting your Vaporize on the attack that have the most damage, and that's our stuff like the last attack of Yoimiya, her N5, or whichever attack have the artifact set proc. The problem here is, of course, that because the artifact 4-piece set is RNG, you cannot control if it will proc on the hit that will Vaporize or not. And when the artifact set proc on a attack that is not gonna Vaporize, you are losing potentially a lot of damage, which is just really bad. And because it is pure RNG, there's no control over it. As both Yoimiya and Ayato have ICD on their normal attack, which means you cannot Vaporize every single attack, it means that there's no guarantee that you can Vaporize the artifact set proc as well, and you'll just be losing a bunch of damage whenever you do not do that. Furthermore, Yoimiya first attack actually attacked twice, and at the current moment it is actually unknown on how it actually properly interact with the artifact set. So because of that, there's just way too many unknown at the current moment, and it's hard to say if you gain a lot of damage or if any damage at all. Now, unfortunately, even though we don't know the exact detail for the new Echo of Offering set, the chances of it being worth farming for might not actually be very high. While it is true that we don't know the exact detail, we could kind of predict mathematics on it, again using advanced technique like Markov chain or Monte Carlo simulation. And the other thing is, we already know that the Heart of Depth set actually kind of work on Ayato, as Ayato will have to do his elemental skill first and then normal attack on it. And conveniently enough, the Heart of Depth set actually come with normal attack bonus increase, which just work really well. But the biggest factor is, of course, the Heart of Depth set is actually in the Blizzard Strayer artifact set domain, which is one of the best artifact set in the game, and it's mandatory on every single crowd characters. As crowd characters like Ayaka or Ganyu is at the top of the meta, being able to farm for the Blizzard Strayer set while farming for the Heart of Depth set is actually a really efficient use of your resin, and it's probably going to be much better than just farming for the new Echo of the Offering set, which again just have too many unknown factors in it. Not to mention that the other artifact set present in the new artifact domain, the Vermillion set, which was mentioned in the first half of this video, is also not that great to farm for, especially if you're not an owner of Xiao, as well if you don't have Xiao, then the new 4P set is completely dead. You can make a similar argument about the Blizzard Slayer set and crowd characters, but because there's more crowd character than a individual single Xiao, on top of the fact that crowd character are just more meta, the chances of you being able to utilize a Blizzard Slayer set sometimes in the future is much higher than the vermillion set. Because of that, it's just high resin efficiency. So yeah, overall speaking, the new artifact domain is not really great for your resin. It is not really resin efficient compared to existing domain like the album domain or the Blizzard Slayer domain. Unless you have a reason to farm for it, like again, if you're a Xiao one trick named Sox, then I probably wouldn't be going for the new artifact set at all. It is just not really worth your time. So yeah, don't farm it. There is a potential that it will change in the futures depending on how the new characters Ayato interact with the Echo of the Offering set, and I guess as well as Yoimiya. And because of that, you should definitely subscribe to the channel to see if there's any update. So with that being said, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Back to the album domain you go.